Welcome once again, fans of flip clocks. We're going to take another look at the Caslon digital clocks. We've already seen the Caslon 201, 701, and now it's time to take a look at the Caslon 601. The Caslon 601 is a desk, table, calendar model. It has the day and date. It's priced at $30 in 1970, which is about $192 in today's dollars. So here we have the clock in the FlipClockFans studios, and we get a little first impression here of the 601. And what you see is a lot of metal, a lot of aluminum and plastic sides with visible screws. No attempt to hide the screws. And then we've got the control knobs on the back. Now the control knobs are not very user-friendly. What you have to do is you have to push in, and then on the one in the middle, you turn it counterclockwise. That's the day, and you turn it, and you pull and turn it counterclockwise, and that's how you flip the time. So push and turn counterclockwise, pull slightly and turn counterclockwise to get the digits to go. There are some arrows on here, but it's really not self-evident. I was searching around on Etsy and found a black version of this clock that still had a sticker and gave a little description of how to do the knobs. We take a closer look here, and we see that's going to be to hold the mechanism in of the clock. So of course we've got to wonder, why does this clock look like this? Well, we've got to remember this was the space age, and just the year prior to its release, it landed on the moon. And to me, this clock is reminiscent of like Mission Control Station, just with the aluminum look and the rivets there, or knobs, or whatever. So maybe that's the look they were going for, because we know with the 201 and the 701, they can make a beautiful clock. So we just go ahead and undo the screws. They are machine screws. They're flat on the end, because it goes right into the metal here. The 3 screws do. So we take a look here, and this is where we run into a little bit of source of frustration. And as you know, I like to tear these clocks down, but this knob here is a stopper. If you see, there's a darker band towards the clock there. That's glue, and there's a line there. That's not a, you can't unscrew that, and you can't pull. You pull this, and you're going to damage something. So I believe that's glued in there. It might have been screwed in, but I can't take a chance with trying to destroy this clock to figure that out. So hopefully I can find a junk clock somewhere, and one day just really get aggressive and find out how to get those knobs off. So what we see here, we've got our clock mechanism that spins freely. We've got wires that are covered with fiberglass tubing or sheathing that's been impregnated with varnish. Of course, we've got our real glass here, which is why I think maybe these clocks, you don't find them as much. It's because maybe that the glass broke and people just threw them away. It makes you wonder. But you look here at this metal, and it's pretty amazing. The clock body or cabinet is one hunk of metal that's been pressed out and then drilled and tapped for those screws. Quite unusual. Now, to get the rest of the face out here, this black part. Oh, you're looking at these things here. These kind of just showed up during disassembly, and maybe you guys can figure out where they go. You've actually seen them already if you had a keen eye, but we'll see where those go here in a bit. I actually had to look back on the video to find out where they actually came from, but it becomes evident here in a little bit. But see, this black part here, it's actually got its own groove to go into. And you would think that you might just slide this out like you did the glass, but you're going to impact that wheel there that passes for a whirligig. That thing turns about 1 revolution a minute, and it actually comes straight off the motor. So you see, what I did was actually just kind of put some pressure on the cabinet there, and it came right out of its channel. And that's the way you're going to want to put that back in too. You're going to mess up the wheel if you try to slide that in. So once we've exposed this to air, you see that the varnish tube has miraculously turned clear. Of course not. You know, that's one of the assemblies that we made. I've replaced the whole thing with this high quality assembly. and that's what that's all about. But the motor I didn't touch, except just then. I didn't oil it. That thing, I'm wondering if it's because it was sealed so well that it doesn't need any servicing. Now here's the post. You can see right in the middle there, I'm pushing it in. And I just tried to figure out how to get that out. I took off that moon clip, and all that did was allow me to take the gear off. And I didn't want to go any further. But again, you see you pull slightly and do the digits. You push slightly and do the day. And that's my life. My day's just passing me by messing with flip clocks. So we're going to go ahead and look at reassembly. And like I talked about, you just drop it straight in there. And you're going to want to push it into that groove. So the second groove back there. And it's just a matter of maybe prying the cabinet a little bit, popping it into place, popping it in that groove. And it's engineered to kind of hold that in there. There's a little pressure. As again, it's pretty amazing quality. And there's our little mystery clips that we're going to show you right now where they go. So anyway, we get the glass, and you want to carefully put that in there. Just sliding that in there, I feel like if I torqued that a little bit, I could break that. So when you look at this, the glass, check this. Obviously, we can't have that. So their solution was to use those clips. And if you look here, this is in the previous cut of video. There they are. They're both on the same side. I think one was drug over to the other side, and the points are pointing down, the middle hill there. So I'm going to put them in the same way, one on one side and one on the other side. And once we do that, it keeps the glass in good shape. So that's just spray painted on there, and it's just like that. So there we have it, the Caslon 601, very space age, mission control looking clock. And probably one of the first calendar clocks that were available. So now we've looked at the Caslon 201, the Caslon 701, and the Caslon 601. A nice trio of clocks, and really kind of a beginning history of flip clocks in the U.S. Thanks for taking the time.
When you get the time, come visit us at FlipClockFans.com.